Hey guys, today's presentation is based on getting comfortable with discomfort. So I'm going to be hanging in the habit series just because once we can really nail down the habits, and this isn't just nutrition training, but also our mindset habits as well, then this is really ultimately what's going to see our success for long-term, lifelong success rather than just going through the motions or on and off success. So I wanted to hang in the habit series for a little bit just because it is such a huge space, and if you can really nail this from the start, or just something that if you can dedicate to continually work on and grow in this space, then you're definitely going to be rewarded. So getting uncomfortable with discomfort. Now, this is something that I think to continue to grow, we're going to constantly have to be doing. I have to admit, I'm probably almost a little bit addicted to this because I know the reward we get from feeling discomfort or going through times of struggle. It is like enormous. I have not only experienced it with my own journey, with weight loss, with childbirth, with running a business, with so many things. If you can really guide your way through and find your way through that discomfort or the uncomfortable stages, you are going to ultimately be rewarded for life. So I know that's a pretty big statement to make, but I really definitely do back it. And this is why I wanted to pop a little presentation together to make sure that you can, first of all, see the potential and give you some really helpful tools on how to achieve it. So let's start with first things first. Are you ready? So whenever we're talking about, habit change and wanting to do something, or knowing that you have a goal or there's something that you really want to achieve, but it's like, it's scary, right? And we have to constantly think like, is this something that I'm ready for? What do I need to do to get ready? We almost go into protective mode because we know that there is probably going to be discomfort in adopting a new habit, in trying a new fitness routine, in starting at a gym or starting PT, for example. These things are going to bring up some uncomfortable feelings and some resistance. So today we're going to chat about how to work through that so that you can get to the ultimate stage. Now, when we're talking about being ready, then there's so many things that come up because the myth of actually feeling ready is that there's going to be a time where all of a sudden it's just going to click. It's just going to all sink in and we're going to be ready to go, and there's going to be absolutely no speed humps, and that's when we know that we're ready. So if you actually wait to feel ready, you end up waiting and waiting and waiting. Feelings pass, motivations pass, the little external and internal motivators, they will start to dwindle and they will pass as well. So waiting for your mind to actually get on board with the life that you're trying to create is only going to prolong the time before you're living that life. And the sooner that you can just take action, even if it is this much action towards the life that you want to live, then the sooner you're going to be fulfilling that dream. Our minds will take the path of comfort every time. And as it is our brain's job to actually keep it safe, then of course it's going to always follow that path of least resistance. So it's going to do any behaviors that are going, basically keeping us safe. Now, the time to act is always now. If it is something that you want, then the time to act is always going to be now. Not when you have the money, not on the first of the month, not when you have permission from XYZ partner, whoever, or not when you've given yourself permission to finally feel worthy enough to achieve what you actually have been wanting to achieve for so long. Not one day, not January 1st, not when work slows down. All of these things, they are limiting beliefs, but they are also, we do have to understand as well, is they are also like little coping mechanisms. They are little safety nets, right? Now, if we think about, starting, it doesn't have to be going from where we are to that ultimate where we want to be overnight. If we can take that pressure off that we, have to be where our ultimate goals person or, influencer or inspiring person that you follow or that you aspire to be, if you put the expectation on yourself that you have to be there overnight, then that is when all of these little things like work being busy or you not having the energy or it actually being, halfway through December and it's like, oh, I'll start January 1st. These little things actually become like purposeful. So, not having enough money to start a gym program, it actually becomes not an excuse, but like a welcomed explanation, right? It actually becomes an explanation as to why we can't start. Now, bearing in mind that starting could literally be getting outside and going for a 20-minute walk. Right now, today, here, as you're listening to this, as you're watching this, you might go for a 20-minute walk. That is starting. So let's just rephrase the steps of what starting looks like, and let's see if we can get there together. That is one little way that we can help, create a little comfort in the discomfort. So the big picture, the really ultimate goal of wanting to, let's say, lose 20 kilos, that's scary as shit because that seems like it is a really far way away. But instead of saying, I'll start Monday, let's start now. Let's go, no, right, let's do it. Let's do something right now that's going to get me on the path to losing that 20 kilos. So what happens in our brain? Basically, our brain has checkboxes. Does it take away short-term discomfort? Is this activity going to take away short-term discomfort? Is it going to be easy in terms of time and effort? Does it bring pleasant feeling in the moment? Or even better, will it reduce the unpleasant feelings in the moment? Will it meet an otherwise unmet need? So these checkboxes, our brain basically works through these. And if this activity ticks those checkboxes, then of course that's what our brain is going to go with. So if we were to go back and actually go, okay, am I going to have this chocolate bar? Does it take away short-term discomfort? Yes, because I'm not feeling amazing. I feel like something sweet and I just want to pick me up. That chocolate bar in past experience has fixed that short-term discomfort. It's made me feel good in the time, right? Is it going to be easy in terms of time and effort? Yes, hells yes, because all I got to do is unwrap it, put it in my mouth, and I get the satisfaction of the taste. Does it bring a pleasant feeling in the moment, or even better, will it reduce unpleasant feelings in the moment? Yeah, because if I'm not feeling amazing, then me having a twirl or whatever it is, it's going to lift my feelings. It's going to make me feel a little bit better. And will it meet an otherwise met need? So a need that I need met right now is comfort because I'm not feeling fantastic. And having that chocolate bar, it gives me comfort because it gives me something to take my mind off the situation that is at hand, and it allows me to relax. Okay, you can use that example for anything. It can be a glass of wine. It can be, going out on a binge night of alcohol or whatever it may be. It could be splurging on, retail therapy that you know that you don't need, but you do it anyway. Okay, so you guys, I think, can completely understand exactly how these can relate to some habits that we already have instilled, that our brain has already created really strong neural pathways to. If your brain checks off this list, then you bet it's going to work super hard to actually maintain the habit, because this is what it's actually meant to do. But this is also why it's important to be able to endure some discomfort and keep the bigger picture in mind, remembering that the more times we actually do carry out a behavior, then the more ingrained it becomes. So the more times we say, no, I'm not going to have that chocolate bar. I'm going to meet my needs by calling a girlfriend and explaining the situation. Or I am going to get some short-term satisfaction by going out and getting some sunshine. Okay, there is always time and place for a chocolate bar, don't worry, but I'm just talking in context at the moment. So remembering that the more times we carry out a behavior, the more ingrained it becomes. Whenever you are tempted, correct it with a more empowering behavior or habit, and then remind yourself, the more times I carry out this empowering habit, then the more ingrained this behavior will become. So how do we sit through the uncomfortable stage? There is going to be many of them with any habit change, with any lifestyle change or level up. There is going to be many. And I think the first step to actually getting through any uncomfortable stage is just accepting and acknowledging that there is going to be some discomfort. There is going to be an uncomfortable stage, okay? But a really good, practical way is to look at our habit cycle. So the habit cycle talks about the cues, a routine, and a reward. So the cue being a trigger that your brain can actually choose the habit, right? So the brain will then shift into automatic mode. Now, let's think of this as in context of, wanting to get up and go to the gym, wanting to create the habit of an active lifestyle, okay? So the trigger would be an alarm goes off in the morning for your gym session, and your next trigger may be that your gym close out. So the trigger is the alarm, the cue is your gym close out, okay? Which then actually helps the mind go into automatic mode because there is least resistance. The alarm's gone off being the trigger, the cue, having your clothes out, being those clothes are suitable for gym. And then we move into the routine phase. So the routine being anything from physical, mental, and emotional response. For an example, you wake up to your alarm and you think, I'm tired, I can't be bothered. But then you tell yourself, how good will I feel afterwards? And get up, you get dressed, and before you know it, you're at the gym. So this trigger of the alarm, you've backed it up with a cue. So you're nurturing the environment of your current state so that you can actually get through to the routine stage, get through to the autopilot, and work our way to the reward. So the reward is the prize that tells your brain that this is worth some discomfort, yeah? So let's go through some discomfort now and we'll feel the comfort later. The comfort later being the reward. So this part is crucial for the ongoing success of implementation because this is what reinforces to your brain that it is actually worthwhile and to repeat it again. You may feel an endorphin high after going to the gym that boosts your mood from the start of the day, or it boosts your mood from the day. And it may lead to a yummy post-workout smoothie. It may lead to that endorphins feeling, which is, dopamine is basically a feel-good chemical that releases and gives you a sense of pleasure and in turn, further motivation to continue. So remembering that if we can have a adequate cue, so in this example, that being the alarm, we have the trigger, the cue being the clothes out, so that is that sort of visual. And then the routine is, okay, go to gym, but then if I know that if I stick to my routine, stick to my goal or my habit that I'm trying to set, then I get the reward. And the more times we get through the habit cycle of cue, routine, reward, then the stronger that neural pathway becomes. So when, and I would be interested to hear if anybody has had, someone say, I don't know how you train 5 days a week. How do you do it? Why do you do it? They don't understand because they haven't worked through the habit cycle. They haven't gotten to the stage where they feel that reward, or they feel that dopamine and endorphins after their workout, they haven't gotten to the stage where they have stuck to something long enough where they feel genuinely empowered through the strength that they have gained. So super important to always work through the habit cycle with any new habit, and make sure you're getting to that stage where it is created, like it's a habit ingrained, before you try and add on, before you try and layer. Okay. So now we're going to look at the comfort in discomfort. These are a few things that I've kind of just drawn together as ways to find comfort in discomfort and push through it. So number one is going to be to do the things that you don't like to do. Just do them, because if you can do them, and the more often, like I said, the more often you do them, then the stronger that resistance is built and the stronger that neural pathway becomes, which means the things you don't like doing become easier. Number two is create a nurturing environment through triggers and cues that will get things in motion and towards autopilot mode. So this is, again, like creating the environment for yourself to be able to have the energy to get up and go to gym in the morning. Then that starts at the day before. That starts at making sure you're turning your phone off the night before, you're getting into bed at a reasonable hour, you're setting your alarm, you've got your gym clothes out. These are all little things, very small little behaviors that really nurture your environment and nurture where you are trying to go. They're going to create these little things are actually creating the life that you want to live. Anything we can do to get ourselves to autopilot mode is going to ultimately be what helps us stick. Just like if you've ever driven, to work, and then you get there and you're like, oh, I don't even remember the traffic lights. I don't even remember how I just arrived. Because your brain has done it so many times, it is on autopilot. It is there and it's ready to go. And it knows that it's going to work. So we can create the same environment, the same cues and triggers that are going to nurture our environment to get us into autopilot mode of any lifestyle, anything that we want to achieve, right? Firm believer in that. And number three, set yourself a reward that meets your higher needs. So when we are looking at setting a new habit or finding some comfort in your current phase, whatever that may be, set yourself like an actual reward that is meaningful to you, but also and by meaningful, I mean that's something that's going to meet your needs, not the needs of your friend, not the needs of your partner, not the needs of your kids. We need to look at what your actual values are, what your needs are as an individual, so that you can set a reward that is going to meet your needs, which is going to reinforce every single positive, empowering habit you try to instill. And then once done so, we are actually, and like I spoke about in, previous lives and things like that, we're actually reinforcing and we're building stronger habits, but we are more in line with who we want to be and who we want to show up as, which means that, again, it just comes back to that habit cycle. We are reinforcing, we are rewarding ourselves with something that is aligned with what we want. It's meeting our needs, which means we are reinforcing the habit and we are strengthening any lifestyle change that we are trying to make. So I really, really hope that this presentation has helped clarify, but also really helped you gain some strategies on how to work through any discomfort and ultimately kick butt. That's what we want you to do. We want to kick some ass, and especially coming into the final few weeks of 2022. Like I said, I am amped up. I am ready to see what you guys can bring. And I absolutely would love to hear from you guys as to how you are feeling coming into the final stages of the year. And if there is anything at all that you have questions on, or that you feel like you could use a little support or kickstart in, please, of course, reach out. That's what us coaches are for, because at the end of the day, our goal as a coach is to have our clients better than us. So, and yeah, it's super motivating, and I love to see where you guys are already at. So please reach out, and thank you for watching. I will see you guys in a few weeks.